Sitting here in this place, so beautiful, it brings me so much emotions. It remembers me of my childhood. And okay, let me be real with you guys. I am not really a gamer. I already said this a couple times here, but I have way more of a story related to game dev and watching gameplays from YouTubers than with really playing games. I didn't really do it a lot. Of course, for me to create a channel that talks so much about games, I need to have some degree of knowledge, and I do to some extent. Even though I don't have a vast catalog of games, there are certain specific ones that impacted my life in a very big way, like Five Nights at Freddy's that I already talked about here a couple times, Undertale, Off, or even Gordaao. But I think that none of these impacted my life as much as fucking Do Gordao, also known as Escape from the Big Abyss, man. Let's fucking talk about this. Hello, it's me again. And today I didn't have an extremely stupid idea that spent hours of my life just for a video. Just kidding, it is another one of these ideas. Since my video recreating Garden of Banban that you should definitively check out was so fun to make, I decided that doing something different would be a good idea. So I decided once again to call my friend Folias without any previous explanations to program a game for me. As I mentioned before, there's a very, interesting game called Escape from the Gordao. Gordao literally meaning Big Abyss Man, and Escapido meaning escape from. I think you could figure this one out yourself. But before explaining to you all the process of creating Do Gordaning, let's understand what the fuck Escape do Gordao is all about. But before, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and if you like this video, check the other ones I posted on this channel. If you like this one, I'm pretty sure you like them too. And if you enjoy my channel as a whole, consider subscribing and sharing these videos with your friends. Now, seriously, don't just ignore this as a generic YouTuber warning. I'm a beginner channel, and every little kind of help you can give me really makes a difference. But now, without further ado, let's do this. Okay, now, Escape do Gordao. On this game, you control no one other than Clayton the hamburger, that is being chased by a guy named Gordao, who wants desperately to consume you. And in the end, while he shoots multiple fireballs at you, you have to attack him a couple times before finally being able to defeat him. This game is simply genius.
Escape from the Gordao is very poggers.
After I played Escape do Gordao, it was very poggers. Incredible. Escape from the Gordao is very poggers. The critics simply loved it. As you can see, this game is an absolute masterpiece, so how could I actually add anything to it at all? Well, my friends, something that my father used to say to me is that when you don't know what you do, go fucking mascot horror. So, yeah, I thought this was a good idea. Okay, the first thing I did as soon as I started this project was to make a couple sketches. Actually, before deciding to make a game based on Escape do Gordao, I was just making a generic mascot horror. But that would be just too bland. So while I was drawing, I remembered that another friend of mine, Tom, made a fan game on Escape do Gordao. Tom created a complete and actually pretty decent horror RPG maker game, and I decided that I'd take some inspiration from his work. So I got that design I made and put a cap on him. Great, I made a cute version and an horror version. But obviously this isn't the only character on the game, and I began working on the protagonist. The character that the player would control. That was obviously a version of Clayton the hamburger. But my friends, this is where I decided that this version of Clayton would have, well, a little more story. Clayton is a very successful investigator. He is one of the most respected detectives on the police. He was casually living his life when he was warned by his superior that there were multiple burgers being kidnapped by a mysterious man. And the only remains of these burgers found are pieces of their body. It seems like whoever is killing these guys is also devouring them. After a lot of investigation and work, the responsible for the crimes is finally found. No one other than Gordao, or Big Abyss Man. I repeated it so much times. The police finds him, but he's quick and hides in the woods. Clayton then decides to go after him, but something feels off. He is not human. Neither is Clayton actually. Okay, great, we have all the ideas necessary. But like, how am I actually making this game? I don't know how to program. That's where my friend Folias comes in. And if you watch my video about Fungi, the game jam experience that you should also definitively give a check, or the one about Banban that I mentioned earlier, you may already be familiarized with this guy. Folias already worked on a couple projects with me for game jams, for videos, or just for fun. And he was the first and only person that I thought about. At first, I was a bit insecure if he would even accept to program this project for me, since his experience programming the Banbaning wasn't really the best. And that was true, he didn't accept it. at first, but I began calling him on Discord and insisting a lot of times, and it turned out that he accepted by peer pressure. We began a call and I explained all the dumbass ideas I had. He tried to convince me to reduce like half of the game so it was easier to him, and I didn't agree, so he did it anyway. And this call created some pretty interesting moments.
Hello guys, this is me, in of the night with my friend Folias.
Wow, look at my screen.
Stop with this nerd shit, you fucking nerd.
Listen,
Listing. Why do you use so many notes? Like, it's not necessary at all.
talk depois.
Talk depois. I don't want to listen to this. I'm going to leave your screen. Not seeing it
Like?
anymore. Not
You
listening.
You like?
No. So what are we doing today?
We made Resident Evil version.
Yes. We're going to recreate the
In this
entire
game,
Resident Evil 4.
In this game, we will have a monster. We will have a school.
At this point, Folias already had a base for the game. The AI was working and he had some basic systems. So this was the end of the first day of work. We had a pretty solid base for the game. There were not a lot of things left. The first thing I began doing was the music, while Folias tried and failed a lot of times to make the cutscenes. So let's talk about the music and the finalization. I wasn't really sure of what... Okay, I'm back. At first, I wasn't really sure of what direction I should follow with the music. Of course, making an ambient and more scary soundtrack would be the most obvious choice, but I couldn't really take this game seriously, so I started working on a metal track. Again, I always make metal tracks. I decided to start with a very low and distorted and kinda noisy synth, and made a very simple chord section. I made a couple melodies and variations with other instruments, but the main one was of course the guitar. I made a pretty good melody with it, way better than I thought it would be, added bass and for last, drums. And this song turned out like this. I actually kinda enjoyed how this turned out. I thought it would be way worse, to be honest. Then for the menu, I got some instruments and melodies from the gameplay song. I changed the velocity and reworked on them as a whole. And it turned out more simple but also interesting. I sent them to Folias and he didn't do as I asked. He used the gameplay song for the menu and just wraps a random ambient noise for the gameplay. Which, to be honest, makes more sense and actually worked way better. I even made a sound effect with a creepy melody for when Gordao is near, so the gameplay section wasn't really silent. But what about the original menu song? I said to Folias to put them on the cutscene, but of course, first Folias would have to implement them. And well, that wasn't very easy. I at first sent an MP4 of them, and Folias said it sucked to add MP4s to Game Maker, so I exported it to a GIF. But I mean, the GIF turned out like 300 frames, and I crashed Folias' PC. Amazing. So I tried to reduce it, and after a lot of struggle, it kinda worked. The quality sucks, but it turned out alright, and the game was pretty much finished. But like, how did it actually turn out? That's what I'll show you guys right now. So yeah, this is pretty much how the whole thing turned out. If you want to play the game for some reason, it's on itch.io, on the description together with the soundtrack. Please don't skip this, but once more, if you like this video, consider giving a like, a comment, and even subscribing. Seriously, don't just ignore this as a generic YouTuber warning. I'm a beginner channel, and every little kind of help you can give me really makes a difference. So now, goodbye.